Thank you, Benedetta. I want to thank everybody who stayed until the last session. I want to thank very much the presenters, especially those who were our guests and came all the way from Turkey. And I want to thank Galia for setting the stage to a very, very interesting conference, which basically was deep, wide, and I have learned a lot. I hope you also have learned something. You couldn't choose a better timing. Erdogan is coming to the neighborhood, going to Egypt, maybe even to a closer neighborhood in Gaza, where Iranian rockets are fired at Israel. In the same time that the same rockets are fired at Turkey from Syria and at Israel from Syria. It's complex. And we gave the name of a decade or the 10th anniversary of the AKP to be the title, but we went far away beyond that, because AKP cannot be discussed without discussing the leadership, the man at the top, Erdogan. It cannot be discussed without discussing Turkey. And since Turkey have decided to become a real player in the Middle East, so we discussed also the bilateral and multilateral relation of Turkey and the Middle East. So it was a half semester, and once again, thank you very much. What we have learned? We have learned that the AKP is here to stay. We don't see any challenge in Turkey in the near future. And as long as, or let's say it is the economy stupid, as long as the economy will be good, I don't see a change in Turkey. We saw that the man in the top is very significant. He's very significant, and his personality and his psychological behavior, his charisma, his beliefs are important in navigating the Turkish ship in the rough water of the 21st century. We have learned that Turkey is stronger and healthier than in the past. No doubt about that, which give it a potential basis to be a regional superpower. However, we have learned that, like almost every country in the world, there is so many problems, contradictions, limitations to reach the national goals that one is aspired. We also understood that in each bilateral relations, there is complexities and contradictions. Vis-à-vis Iran, a lot of cooperation, a lot of competition. Vis-à-vis Egypt, we discussed it in the last session. Vis-à-vis the United States, I'm not accepting Professor Inbar understanding that they are not allies anymore. I think they are allies. But there are complexities there. The Turks and the United States are allies. And vis-à-vis Israel, we discussed it as well. So I cannot conclude my final word without a comment about the incident that by definition is unfortunate. And I'm speaking about the indictment that was brought against former Chief of General Staff, the former Commander of the Navy, the former Chief of Defense Intelligence, which is me, and the former Chief of Air Force Intelligence that nobody knows why he was in this very respected group. And this is, of course, on the issue of the Turkish boat. I do not want to discuss this subject from personal point. The price for me as an Israeli is that I will not tour Turkey as well as I'm not touring Syria, Saudi Arabia, or Iraq. And I've been there. Rather, I would like to speak about this topic, through the lens of Israeli national security in 3 dimensions. The first one is directed against the leadership. The second one is legal dimension that aim to undermine the legitimacy of the State of Israel as a political entity. And finally, there are dimensions of the bilateral relations between the two countries. In the narrow legal sense, this is yet another example, one of many, that we have seen lately of attempts to fight the State of Israel by bringing unfounded lawsuits and indictments all over the world against Israeli political and military leaders. In this context, the incidence of the Turkish flotilla is actually one of the simplest to handle and to explain and to cope with. Among other reasons, because it was handled and investigated by no less than 5 commissions. I don't have time to go through all the 5 commissions, but the most important one is the Palmer Commission, which is a UN Secretary General Commission, which is neutral. In the final analysis, the finding of the Palmer Commission, and not only the Israeli Giora Island Commission or Turkey Commission, was that the maritime blockade was legal, and the stopping of the Turkish flotilla at the sea was with precision, in accordance with the term of international law. In such, it is not all clear what is the legal basis for these unfounded charges. Expect what we can all understand as a political show, without any factual basis or even minimal detail. And this brings me to the second dimension, the broader one. In the past few years, the State of Israel and its allies, even to a lesser degree, had come under legal attack, whose purpose is to try to hit at the legitimacy of the State of Israel, to paint false image of the state that does not follow universal moral principle or international law. In this way, this legal attack aimed to install fear in the political and military leaders to deter them from acting and to tie their hands, not to act as they have to act for the State of Israel, especially in the war against terror. There is no doubt that the charge in Turkey is one of these attempts, similar to the action of Human Rights Council and its report, such as the Goldstone report. By the use of these tools of law and media, the enemies of the State of Israel are trying to weaken our hand. It is clear that this defective course of action will not achieve this goal. We have very good legal and other responses to this claim. Moreover, our friends all over the world understand these issues well and will not be prepared to lend a hand to such transparent manipulation. And we got all the support from the United States, from all the European countries. No inappropriate decision will be made by Israeli political or military echelon out of such unfold fears. It is fact that to this day, the maritime blockade has remained in place and is even won, as mentioned, the legal backing of the international community in the forum of the Palmer report. Israel will not give up its right to defend itself. And none of my friends in the political or military leadership will make decisions under such groundless threats. We are careful to observe strictly the binding principles of morality and the international law. But within their framework, we will do everything to defend our citizens and we are not scared by manipulative acts such as this. And as I say, our allies throughout the world also understand this well. They understand this baseless move, and they disapprove the course of actions that aim to hijack the law for cynical political purposes. Finally, the aspect of strategic bilateral relation on which I am not bearing any news. To my regret, Turkey chose to identify with terrorist movement that has been stunned by the entire civilized world, Western world. Turkey, which is a very important country and very important regional superpower, with which the state of Israel has no reason to clash, has chosen to make a statement but having proceedings that are sort of show trial. On this, there is a real reason to regret. If in the past, all of the unfolded charges were brought by private citizens and not with the encouragement of a state, such as the charges against Doron Almog in Great Britain, Tzipi Livni, Ehud Barak, against Bogi Ya'alon in New Zealand, against Fuad and Daniel Khalutz in Spain, here is the indictment was brought by the Turkish state prosecutor. This is a defiant statement by Ankara towards Jerusalem that underscored the deterioration of the bilateral relation between the countries. And this we should regret and hope that truly, with the help of our common allies, like the United States, the Turks too will understand that it is also in their interest to maintain normal or at least reasonable relation with Israel. Thank you very much. Drive safely.
אני שמחתי שהזמנת אותי.
יש לנו הידיעה שלך על טורקיה.
מחר צריכה להיות גם כן אחת.